What's up, guys? It is late at night and Capcom dropped some news, and I wanted to talk about it because this actually affects me personally. And whether you realize it or not, it probably affects many of you as well. The official Capcom Fighters account just tweeted a new rule change that they're going to make sure that all down-up inputs now equal neutral. This might not seem like much, but it's actually a huge change, and it's a huge nerf to anyone who uses a hitbox or anyone that switched to a hitbox to get easier flash kick motions, which is a lot of people. A lot of the problem people are having with it, in addition to the fact that it kind of makes people's reason for switching to hitbox useless, is how broadly and ineffectively this gets applied. Like, how and where does this stop with leverless controllers? Because it's very clear this sort of thing is not going to affect sticks, and recently it was shown that up and down on a D-pad on pad already equals neutral, but there are a lot of different kind of leverless sticks now. You know, this is not 15 years ago where hitbox comes out and it's kind of the only thing on the market. There's hitbox, there's cross up, and where this affects me, there's mixbox. I play on a mixbox. Does this affect me? It's kind of hard for me to hit both of them at once, but I could do it. Even if they really come out and they say, hey, this is just for hitbox or this is just for cross up or whatever, there still becomes the issue that we've always had with hitbox and SOCD cleaning, which is, how the hell do you enforce this? If you're a TO, you cannot be going around testing every stick. The bigger the event, the more you're just going to have to trust the players. So the TOs are not going to be able to enforce this at their level, which unfortunately kind of leads to self-policing. And when self-policing fails, does it fall to the players in that case? Like, are you supposed to be watching somebody mid-set, and if their flash kicks look a little too clean, you're gonna ask for an SOCD check? Like, where does the buck stop with this? And if they make these rules like this, which I don't inherently disagree with, I don't necessarily think that hitboxes should have an advantage in charge mechanics, and it's not like they didn't change back and forward. You have to SOCD clean with back and forward, but how do you enforce this? How do you make it so that if you make this rule as Capcom, you can actually force players to do this? Even players who used to play on stick are switching to hitbox now. Brian F recently switched to hitbox when he was learning to play Oro because he thought it was just a more effective way to play Street Fighter, which a lot of people did. A lot of people bought a hitbox thinking to themselves, this is the better way to play the game. I'm going to learn it on the hitbox. And now what? Is their controller going to be banned? Do they have to switch back to pad? Is there some way they can get around this limitation? It's really unclear. Hitbox's own response, I don't even think really clears it up, because they put out another tweet, quote tweeting Capcom Fighters, basically saying, we stand by our current SOCD and we're not going to make any changes. They even ended the tweet by putting up plus down equals up, which again, I don't necessarily agree with, but it really makes it hard to believe that they're going to reach a resolution with the SOCD cleaning, because I don't see Capcom backing down on this completely. Maybe they change the implementation of it in some way, but if Capcom's not going to back down and Hitbox is not going to back down, they're just going to get slapped with a ban. Even as one of the 12 Mixbox users in the world,
there are dozens of us. Dozens!
I'm a little bit nervous about this for my own controller, because again, it is a leverless controller, which is going to make it the target of stuff like this, number one. And number two, where exactly does this end? I mean, is the standard they want to set that only pad and stick are going to be allowed in competitions? Where do they kind of draw the line there? We don't really have any solutions or answers yet. Like I said, they just dropped this information, but I wanted to just kind of talk about it because I feel impacted by it. I don't use a hitbox, but I do use a mixbox, and I am worried. I feel like because obviously I want to play Street Fighter 6. A lot of people do, and I don't want it to become a situation where I have to either A, switch back to pad, which I obviously don't want to do. I love the controller that I use, or B, have to get some sort of weird SOCD solution. And I don't even use charge characters, so it's not like it affects me that much in terms of how I play, but it could affect me in terms of my controller being legal at all. I'll keep an eye out on Twitter to see what the community sentiment of this is. It kind of seems like already people are chiming in with their thoughts on it, but what do you guys think? Do you think that this is an overreach by Capcom? Do you think that they are going to just try to ban all non-traditional controllers? Let me know in the comments, and I'll comment on this again if the story kind of evolves.